Welcome to my English podcast. I'm Natasha, and if you're new to our vibrant community, this is where we empower you to improve your English every day through captivating real-life stories and practical tips that boost your listening, vocabulary, and speaking confidence in contexts like work, travel, and social life. So let's dive into an immersive journey of learning with inspiring anecdotes from friends, colleagues, and my own experiences, each packed with lessons to help you speak English naturally and fluently. Let's start with my friend Daniel, who recently joined a marketing firm and faced a steep learning curve with technical jargon. He shared, "Natasha, my first week was overwhelming, but I watched how my team communicated and asked polite questions like, 'Could you clarify what that term means?' which helped me grasp concepts quickly." His breakthrough came during a solo client presentation, where he organized his ideas meticulously, practiced speaking slowly, and delivered a clear, professional pitch that earned praise from his manager, showing that preparation and clarity are key to workplace success. Shifting to travel, my colleague Sophie explored Spain on a short vacation, saying, "Learning basic phrases like, 'Where is the nearest cafe?' and booking a hotel near the city center made my trip seamless, letting me connect with locals over tapas and vibrant markets." She emphasized that planning and using simple language can transform travel experiences, making them both memorable and educational. On the social front, Michael hosted a team dinner, noting, "Cooking together and sharing favorite recipes sparked laughter and stories, turning colleagues into friends." His tip: ask open-ended questions like, "What's your favorite dish to cook?" to create a warm, engaging atmosphere. I recently visited a charming town with my husband, where using simple English phrases like, "Can you tell me about this place?" to chat with shopkeepers about local history created warm, meaningful exchanges that deepened our connection to the place. For work insights, James, who's studying project management online, shared, "Setting small daily goals like reading one article each morning keeps me consistent." During a team project, his colleague Sarah's creative solution surprised him, teaching him to embrace diverse ideas, which led to a successful outcome praised by their manager. Laura, on a business trip to Germany, said, "Researching local customs like punctuality and preparing small gifts for partners built trust and respect." My neighbor, Mr. Thompson, organized a community gardening event, explaining, "Planting flowers together fosters connection. Asking neighbors about their gardening experiences sparks natural conversations." His advice: focus on others' stories to keep talks flowing. Alex, volunteering at a library, improved his pronunciation by reading to kids, recalling a moment when he acted out a tricky word, making a child laugh and understand, proving that creativity enhances communication. My husband and I toured a historical city, asking our guide Clara, "How did people live here a century ago?" which turned into a natural English practice session as she explained in simple terms, encouraging us to take notes and ask follow-up questions. Rachel's team lunch broke the ice when she asked everyone to share a weekly story, leading to laughter and weekend plans, while Tom's Italy trip showed that basic phrases like, "Can you recommend a dish?" and gestures eased communication, improving his confidence with varied accents. Emma, practicing English daily with her husband, said, "Discussing simple things like our weekly plans in English makes fluency feel natural." At a time management workshop, I met Mark, who reduces work stress by explaining tasks in clear, simple sentences like, "This report needs 3 key points." Helen's cooking session with friends showed how chatting about ingredients builds vocabulary, with a funny moment when someone spilled water, turning it into a lighthearted English practice opportunity. David's Japan Festival experience taught him to ask open-ended questions like, "What do you love about this event?" to spark longer, engaging talks. Samantha boosts her vocabulary by repeating podcast phrases and using new words and sentences immediately, suggesting you try the same for retention. Oliver, at a consulting firm, gained confidence by summarizing meeting points, saying, "Taking notes and rephrasing key ideas helps me follow fast-paced discussions." Clara's Canada trip taught her to ask politely for clarification, like, "Could you repeat that slower?" which bridged understanding gaps. Ethan's networking event thrived on simple questions like, "What projects are you working on?" sparking professional yet friendly chats. Hannah's cooking club involved explaining recipes aloud, like mix the dough gently, boosting her fluency, while Lucas's national park trip with his wife had them describing scenery, like the river is so clear, to practice English naturally. Nina's animal shelter volunteering used simple instructions like feed the cats at noon, improving her clarity, while Olivia's board game night had friends explaining rules in English, turning mistakes into laughter and learning. Henry's international conference challenged him with diverse accents, but focusing on keywords helped, and he practiced expressions during breaks. Sophia's educational videos, paused to repeat sentences, improved her tone and fluency, while Victor's coastal town exploration involved asking locals, "What's the history of this beach?" to practice conversation. Isabel's hiking group described trails, like the path is steep, building vocabulary, while Nathan's photography workshop had him explain shots, like this angle captures the light, enhancing descriptive skills. Eleanor's craft business required clear customer explanations, like this scarf is handmade with soft wool, boosting her confidence. Patrick's technology seminar taught him to focus on main ideas, while Claudia's book club discussions about plots improved her expressive language. Martin's sports volunteering used clear instructions like kick the ball here, while Olivia's cooking workshop had her describe steps, like chop the carrots finely, for fluency. Benjamin's historical town visit involved asking, "What's the oldest building here?" to practice listening, while Fiona's photography club described shots, like the sunset is vibrant, for vocabulary growth. Liam's language exchange asked questions like, "What's your favorite hobby?" to drive conversation, while Sophia's painting class described techniques, like blend the colors softly, for expressive practice. George's HR role used simple explanations, like vacation days are calculated monthly, for clarity, while Isabella's biking trip described routes, like the trail follows the coast, for fluency. Nathan's public speaking workshop improved his pronunciation through feedback, while Victoria's hiking club described scenery, like the lake is calm, for natural practice. Ethan's pottery workshop explained steps, like shape the clay evenly, for vocabulary, while Sophia's hiking group described trails, like the forest is dense, for fluency. Lucas's language exchange discussed work, like what's your current project, for engagement, while Amelia's cooking class explained recipes like stir the soup slowly, for clarity. Henry's photography club described shots, like this frame highlights the mountain, while Clara's gardening group explained tasks, like water the plants twice weekly, for practical use. Nathan's chess workshop explained moves, like I moved my knight to protect my queen, for critical thinking, while Victoria's painting class described techniques, like use a thin brush for details, for expression. Oliver's hiking trip discussed scenery, like the valley is breathtaking, while Fiona's book group summarized plots, like the hero faces many challenges, for comprehension. Michael's public speaking refined pronunciation through feedback, while Emma's photography hike described shots, like the shadow adds depth for vocabulary. Daniel's language exchange asked for clarifications, like, "Can you explain that again?" While Clara's cooking workshop described steps, like, "Bake for 20 minutes for fluency." Henry's hiking trip described trails, like, "The path is rocky," while Sophie's painting club explained techniques, like mix blue and yellow for green, for expression. Oliver's book club discussed characters like, "She's brave but cautious," while Victoria's photography workshop described shots, like, "The light is soft here," for vocabulary. Nathan's chess club explained strategies like, "I moved my rook for defense," while Michael's public speaking used feedback to refine tone. Emma's painting workshop described actions, like, "I'm blending colors," while Henry's photography hike explained shots, like, "This angle captures the sunrise," for fluency. Liam's carpentry workshop explained steps, like, "Sand the wood smoothly," while Amelia's hiking club described trails, like, "The summit is near," for vocabulary. Daniel's community kitchen explained tasks like chop the vegetables finely, while Clara's language exchange asked questions like, "What's your favorite trip?" for engagement. Ethan's photography class described shots like, "The frame is balanced," while Sophia's gardening group explained tasks like plant the seeds deeply for clarity. Michael's chess workshop explained moves, like, "I moved my bishop to attack," while Emma's painting class described techniques, like, "Use short strokes for texture," for expression. Oliver's hiking trip described scenery, like the forest is lush, while Fiona's book group discussed themes, like the story explores courage, for comprehension. Nathan's public speaking refined structure through feedback, while Victoria's photography workshop described shots like, "The shadow creates contrast," for vocabulary. Daniel's language exchange asked questions like, "What do you do for fun?" while Clara's cooking workshop explained steps, like mix the batter gently, for fluency. Sophie's painting club described techniques, like blend colors smoothly, while Henry's hiking trip described trails, like the path curves gently, for vocabulary. Oliver's book club summarized plots, like the hero overcomes fear, while Victoria's photography workshop described shots, like the light is warm, for expression. Nathan's chess club explained strategies like, "I moved my pawn to open a path," while Michael's public speaking refined clarity through practice. Emma's painting workshop described actions like, "I'm adding more blue," while Henry's photography hike explained shots like, "This frame captures the horizon," for fluency. Liam's carpentry workshop explained steps like, "Measure the wood twice," while Amelia's hiking club described trails like, "The river is sparkling," for vocabulary. Daniel's community kitchen explained tasks like, "Stir the sauce slowly," while Clara's language exchange asked questions like, "What's your favorite book?" For engagement, Ethan's photography class described shots like, "The composition is balanced," while Sophia's gardening group explained tasks like, "Trim the branches carefully," for clarity. Michael's chess workshop explained moves, like, "I moved my queen to threaten," while Emma's painting class described techniques like, "Use a wide brush for the sky," for expression. Oliver's hiking trip described scenery, like the mountain is majestic, while Fiona's book group discussed characters like he's determined but kind, for comprehension. Nathan's public speaking refined tone through feedback, while Victoria's photography workshop described shots like the light creates depth, for vocabulary. Daniel's language exchange asked questions like, "What's your favorite place?" while Clara's cooking workshop explained steps, like bake at 350 degrees for fluency. Sophie's painting club described techniques, like add more red for warmth, while Henry's hiking trip described trails, like the path is steep but scenic, for vocabulary. Oliver's book club summarized plots, like the story is about hope, while Victoria's photography workshop described shots, like the frame is vibrant, for expression. Nathan's chess club explained strategies like, I moved my knight for defense, while Michael's public speaking refined structure through practice. Emma's painting workshop described actions like, I'm mixing colors, while Henry's photography hike explained shots like, this angle highlights the trees, for fluency. Liam's carpentry workshop explained steps, like, cut the wood evenly, while Amelia's hiking club described trails, like the valley is peaceful, for vocabulary. Daniel's community kitchen explained tasks, like mix the ingredients well, while Clara's language exchange asked questions like, what's your favorite hobby? For engagement, Ethan's photography class described shots, like the light is soft, while Sophia's gardening group explained tasks, like water the flowers gently, for clarity. Michael's chess workshop explained moves, like, I moved my rook to protect, while Emma's painting class described techniques, like use light strokes for details, for expression. Oliver's hiking trip described scenery, like the lake is serene, while Fiona's book group discussed themes like the story teaches resilience, for comprehension. Nathan's public speaking refined clarity through feedback, while Victoria's photography workshop described shots like the shadow adds drama, for vocabulary. Daniel's language exchange asked questions like, what do you do on weekends? While Clara's cooking workshop explained steps, like stir the soup gently, for fluency. Sophie's painting club described techniques like blend the colors carefully, while Henry's hiking trip described trails, like the path is winding, for vocabulary. Oliver's book club summarized plots like the hero faces danger, while Victoria's photography workshop described shots like the light is golden, for expression. Nathan's chess club explained strategies like I moved my bishop to attack, while Michael's public speaking refined tone through practice. Emma's painting workshop described actions like I'm adding more yellow, while Henry's photography hike explained shots like this frame captures the sunset, for fluency. Liam's carpentry workshop explained steps, like sand the edges smoothly, while Amelia's hiking club described trails like the forest is dense, for vocabulary. Daniel's community kitchen explained tasks, like chop the herbs finely, while Clara's language exchange asked questions like, what's your favorite movie? For engagement, Ethan's photography class described shots like the composition is dynamic, while Sophia's gardening group explained tasks like plant the seeds evenly, for clarity. Michael's chess workshop explained moves like I moved my pawn to advance, while Emma's painting class described techniques like use a small brush for details, for expression. Oliver's hiking trip described scenery, like the mountain is stunning, while Fiona's book group discussed characters like She's brave and clever for comprehension. To practice, repeat phrases from these stories, like I'm cooking dinner or the scenery is beautiful, and imagine yourself in similar scenarios, describing your workday, asking a colleague about their hobbies, or chatting with a local while traveling. Speak daily, even briefly, about routines like, I'm making tea, or ask questions like, what do you enjoy doing? To build confidence and fluency naturally. Subscribe to my English podcast for daily tips, share your stories in the comments, and keep practicing with enthusiasm. See you next time.